everybody, welcome back. My name is Anna. I'm a content writer and an aspiring author, and this is the channel where I talk about all of that. This is a CampNaNoWriMo vlog. If you don't know what NaNoWriMo is, it is a month-long experience where people write 50,000 words in 1 month, which is possible for some, not possible for others, and for most it is that sweet spot of pushing yourself to get things done and giving yourself a challenge where you can actually complete it, but it is difficult, especially if you're working around work, school, family, and it's great. And CampNaNoWriMo is the modified version of that. It happens in April and July, and you basically get to make your own goal, and it's really fun. I have only ever won NaNoWriMo like once that I am confident in, where I wasn't like throwing words on the page just because they were words. For CampNaNoWriMo, I had two personal goals. I wanted to complete a portion of Project DW I'd be able to send out to writer friends and get their feedback on. Spoiler alert, this did not happen. They still have not received the document. It is sitting in my brain as a task that will be completed eventually, but right now I'm still working through some things that I want done on the story. For the second part of my goal, I really wanted to start back on the Olo and Likely series that I started several years ago at this point, and I have gotten there. My main goal was to basically plot through the 10 books. If you've been here for any length of time, you know that there has been this big fluctuation in the story itself. I do have a playlist that I will link in various places so that you can go check that out if you're interested in it. However, the main goal of this was to refamiliarize myself with the story and the characters and figure out who they are. In the beginning, when I started this, I was only just really getting into crafting stories and figuring out how that needs to go. And I have since, at this point, done a lot more. And I understand a lot more about crafting stories in general and crafting specific types of stories, specific genres of stories. And I think that my level of where I'm at right now is really proving to be a benefit at this point, and I'm really excited for where this story is going to go. Spoiler alert, I did complete this goal. I am really happy to say I am familiarized. I do have the 10 books of the series all base plotted at the very least, and I'm ready to start drafting the first book this next month. Without further ado, here is the vlog. Actually, before we get into it, because I'm a YouTuber and I know that there are certain things that I'm supposed to be doing as a YouTuber in general. If you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to subscribe and stick around for longer. Like this video if you did enjoy it, because it helps out my channel immensely. Thank you so much for being here. Hey guys, I have no idea what I'm doing today. So I just finished uploading a video that was supposed to go up on Saturday, and it's finally up. And now, like, it was a nightmare to figure out. iMovie was not working for me for some reason. Every time I went, like if I edited the video and then jumped out of the editing stuff, it would not let me back into the video, so I couldn't actually finish editing. And that happened like 3 times. So in the end, I decided to just go straight through, and that took like 3 hours on top of the like 3+ hours that I had already spent editing the video. So I'm very done this morning. However, it is July 3rd. It is CampNaNoWriMo. I have goals. I have things to do that I'm terrifically excited for. This month, I will be revising Project DW to get it into a readable draft for somebody else, and I will also be revisiting and replotting the 13-book series that is now not 13 books. It's only like 8 at this point. I don't really have a game plan necessarily. This morning, I feel kind of like I just don't know what to do necessarily, but I'm just going to focus on the goals that I have. I don't think I'm going to work on Olo and Likely on the time that I have solo. I think that will be just for Project DW. So I'll do my content writing, and I will also do my content writing, and I will also do Project DW in the mornings. And then as the day goes on, maybe even just on the weekends, I will do Olo and Likely. I don't think it'll take me too terribly long to plot it, which is why I'm okay doing it alongside Project DW. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through what I have and write down each individual scene that is in the draft, and then as I go on, I'll just write it down on a note card, and then as I've finished that, I will switch everything around and put the note cards in the order that they need to be in order to make it readable, and then fill in spaces with note cards and figure out what it needs, what it doesn't need, where I'm solid at, and proceed from there. I just used the find and replace feature on Word for the first time ever. I've heard about it before. I've never used it. I've never had the desire to use it, except that I have this character who is one thing, and it's a very simple thing. It's just a small spelling change, but I really didn't want to go through and do it and change all of them, especially where I'm at in the process right now. And, you know, I've heard about it, and so I decided to just test it out. And I'm really, really, really glad that I did, because it made 307 replacements in like the blink of an eye. It was done. And now I'm done. And that's a task that I don't have to worry about. Delegation is, I think, what this comes down to. It's awesome. It is the end of the week, the first week of NaNoWriMo. I'm not going to be documenting too terribly much because I know that I want the entire month to be condensed into one video, and I am rambly and I end up talking a whole lot when I don't actually need to. So I haven't really been documenting necessarily. However, I finished all of the tasks that I needed to complete, which was mainly writing down scenes on note cards, so that I can rearrange everything and put it into the order that it needs to be for the story to make sense. But it is the end of the week, and it's rainy and drizzly, and it honestly makes me want to spend time with two of my favorite characters in the Midlands. They are my first in the end, you know. They're really the first characters that I ever had any sort of fleshed out ideas for. I feel the need to do them some justice today, so I'm gonna write a scene that has been on my mind for forever, and I'm just gonna spit it out, and then I'm gonna go down and hang out with the family. It's later in the day than I normally do this kind of thing, because I normally work early in the morning, and then the rest of the day belongs to my family. But I had some time to myself this afternoon because I'm feeling weird, and I don't know if this has anything to do with that, but I want to. So that's what I'm gonna do. I've got everything pulled up already, so I don't exactly know where this scene fits in the grand scheme of the story, but it's been on my mind a lot. And I know that it needs to get written soon, otherwise I'm gonna forget it. And it's one of those scenes where you know it's important and it just needs to be done. So, yeah, here we go. Okay, NaNoWriMo. Give me a second. that's what we're focusing on now. Okay, ignore the vacuum and the screaming child and the fact that I'm a little bit frazzled. I've already shot a video, but I really want to talk about this. Okay, so the first step in what I was doing in order to move forward with the stories is done. At least with Project EW, with the series, we'll talk about that in a minute. It's not completely done. However, I have all of these note cards right here. These are the different scenes that I have already written and completely ready. I just need to reorganize them. So my next step with that is to reorganize the story. And I'm hoping that at this point, I can rearrange them and put them in sort of a chapter structure at this point. Have a document in which I am detailing the chapters and basically writing like the purpose behind them, the scenes that should go in them, and I'm gonna mishmash them all together. I do have a couple more note cards that I will be writing through the rest of this week. And I definitely do have more stuff that I will be writing in order to make it a full story, but I'm kind of going with the flow on that front. However, that step is done. My next step for that is to finish with writing the rest of the note cards before I officially, switch everything around and mash it into place. Now, let's talk about Olo and Likely. This is possibly, I'm so excited, you guys. Okay, I've officially decided that it will be a 10-book series, and I am really excited about that. It was 13, decided I didn't need 13 books in it anymore, brought it down to 6 books, like 3 years ago when I was actually writing it originally, and then when I decided to repick it back up, I thought I needed 8 books to tell the story. And then here's, getting into what I did over the last couple of days over the weekend. I'm only working on it on the weekend. I have been reading a couple of different craft books to help me get into it. However, they were only making me think about Project EW, and that wasn't helping. So I went back to my tried and true, The Anatomy of Story. I went to the plot section and I wrote out all of the plot beats, which is really nice because they actually came quite swiftly and I was able to write them down really fast. And what I did on top of that was I took the plot beats and figured out where the story needed to meet the plot beats and which plot beats went into which book. So Olo and Likely is a murder mystery series with an overarching story. The overall storyline needs to be read in order. So you'll get like this completed story within each book, but then you'll also get little breadcrumbs throughout the entire story arc, which will end in 10 books. So I kind of matched the plot points of the overarching story into where they should be per story convention and where I thought that they best fit with the book level, book number, and what I had already figured out for the books themselves. The reason that it bumped up to 10 was because in the beginning I decided that I was only going, that the two-parters that I had, which there were 2 two-parters, so 4 books. The 2-parters that I had, I decided to connect and make single books because I was trying to condense the story. But then going through this book, I decided to look at it more as what is the most comfortable number of books that I can write while also making it the right amount for the story. Because I didn't want too many and I also didn't want too little because I don't want to rush it, but I also don't want to drag it out longer than it needs to be. In the end, the final answer was 10. I do have all of the books figured out for the most part, especially as they focus on the major plot arc. But there is one, book 2, ironically, that I am still trying to figure out. So the fun thing is that I have books 1 and 3 and 4 already written. So I have 3 books written, plotted and drafted for this series. I just need to write number 2, 5, and 6 for myself to be comfortable with where I'm at this year, which is going to be really fun. I'm super excited about it. However, I still need to figure out what book 2 is going to be, and I think I need to figure out what the mystery for book 8 is going to be. I know the overall events that happen, but I need to find out the mystery that fits with those events that doesn't seem like it's connected, but is actually connected. So that's what I did this weekend. And next weekend, I will probably sit and also do some more of that. I'm gonna think about it over the next week, what kind of thing I want to see, what kind of thing I like to see in a book, and mesh it in there. The rest of the week for Project DW, I'm going to be writing up those note cards, which I will have plenty of time to do over the next 4 days. And then this coming Saturday, I will take the note cards that I have for Olo and Likely, these guys. I have one for each book, and it just kind of gives an overall synopsis. And I will start plotting out individual books, and I'm super excited because over the next couple of months, I hope to draft 3 of them and finish reworking the rest of them and get them, you know, ready for somebody else to read. So that's the goal for this weekend. I will plot at least a couple of them, and by the end of the month, all of those will be plotted. Today is July 15th, I believe, Saturday. I'm working on the Olo and Likely series. And so the really cool and really exciting thing is that the thing that I wanted to accomplish this weekend, I have already accomplished, which is just fantastic. It's great. And it's only like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it feels really nice. So that means that I have 2 things to work on this weekend, which are, I've got to edit a video, and I have to, actually 0 things that I have to do, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to base plot one of the books, and then throughout the next 2 weekends, because I have 2 weekends left to work on Olo and Likely. I really got to change the name because Likely actually isn't the main character. I'm going to plot a book and then see how the next 2 weekends get me. For Project DW this last week, I did not finish quite what I wanted to finish, but I do have, if I get all of my work done on Monday, which is definitely possible, it's just a matter of like forcing myself to do it, which I'm not consistently good at, but this month I've kind of got to be consistently good at it. However, was able to draft a couple of scenes, and this coming week I think I'm going to finish drafting those scenes, and if I finish drafting those scenes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, then Friday I'm going to focus solely on rearranging the story and getting it into a readable, what's the word, continuity-wise correct draft. No. What's the word? Chronologically correct. I will spend Friday getting it into a readable, chronologically correct draft. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's raining. It has been raining for the last, like, 24 hours, and I don't know about you, but that just gets me in the mood. So this morning, I'm excited because I have completed all of my work for the week. It's currently Thursday. I have about 4 hours today and hopefully about 6 hours tomorrow morning to work on stuff. But I do have one task to complete before I get started on Project DW. So I woke up, I got my stuff all set up, opened up my computer and everything, turned it on, did the whole thing, and it shut down on me. And I don't know, it said it was a hardware issue. I don't know computers. My husband does, but he still wasn't entirely sure about it. So I did a hard shutdown, turned it back on, and now before anything else, I'm going to email myself my draft because that's like 50,000+ words that I don't want to lose. So I'm gonna take care of that real quick. Okay, so I emailed both files to myself, 2 different files. I emailed myself the actual draft, and then I also emailed myself the synopsis, the chapter synopses that I'm creating. Right now, I have all of the scenes that I have written on handy dandy notes. These are all scenes that I have actually physically in the document itself. I have separated them into the 2 timelines because I have 2 different timelines. I have a couple of different characters that we have points of perspective from, and I want to get them chronologically set and then merge them together And this is where I'm kind of hating past me, because past me was like, okay, I need to get this done this way so that I can just keep moving forward. And now present me is just dreading the reorganization of everything. And I know that that's what I needed at the time, was to do it the way that I did it. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is going to be a mess. So my game plan is to have those separated, create them chronologically, create chapters out of them, and then after I've gotten all of the chapters set, figure out what holes need to be filled and fill them from there. Hopefully by the end of tomorrow, I will have the whole, hopefully by the end of tomorrow, I will actually have the whole thing looking more like a novel than it is right now. And then next week I'll be able to spend filling in the holes. This is currently, today is July 20th, so we still have about a week and a half until the end of NaNoWriMo, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I have, for Olo and Likely, the series the long series that I'm doing, weekend, I am hoping to be able to actually plot the individual books, and it won't be a deep plot by any means. I looked up the mystery plot beats, like murder mystery kind of stuff, and not necessarily the plot beats, but like, you know, we introduce the murder mystery, or we introduce the case, we introduce the detective, we introduce the subplot, like what order that should go in. And the main idea is that I have the main conflict of each individual story set out before I actually draft and before I actually plot the book to its entirety. So the idea at the moment is that the next 2 weekends, so this coming weekend, the weekend after, which will complete NaNoWriMo for me, I will have the full 10 books plotted. At that point, I'll have my husband go through those. He's already read through a little bit to make sure that I've got some things solidified, and it all makes sense, really. And he will go through this next part and also make sure that it all makes sense and ask me questions that need to be asked, and I will answer the answers that need to be answered. Don't know what's going on, but my phone is not letting me edit anything. iMovie's just being weird, and I haven't really been able to edit anything. However, it has given me an opportunity to sort of bring the series back to the surface. I archived a lot of my YouTube videos from years ago because I felt like they weren't necessarily relevant anymore, and I didn't want everybody to be seeing everything. However, now that I'm getting back to the Olo and Likely series, I've been going through and fixing the analytics of the stuff, and I've been posting those every day-ish in order to let you guys sort of see where it started and everything, and I think it's actually going quite well. If you have not seen them, I am putting them in a playlist, and I'll link it somewhere so that you can check that out if you want to. I'm quite entertained by a lot of them because it speaks to what was going on in my life at the time. I'm having all of these old memories resurface from when my kids were little. My oldest is turning 10 next month, and it kind of hurts my heart a little bit, and I'm just going back to when I remember them being small and adorable and not almost teenagers with the absolute horrendous attitudes. Like, I can't believe how close I am. I'm 30, guys, and that just feels weird, and my child is 10, and that feels even weirder. Like, I have a kid. Who on earth thought it was a good idea for me to have children? But I do, and they're cute, and I think I'm a good mom, and, you know, it all worked out. But it just is just weird, and I'm struggling with it this month. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to it. For Project DW today, I am going to work on meshing everything together and figuring out what holes need to be fixed between today and tomorrow. Okay, it has been a little while since I updated about the stories. Today is currently the 30th. No. Why do I always do that? I throw out like the most random numbers for the date. I should just look at the phone before I even open up the thing. Today's the 28th, I'm pretty sure. It's the Saturday before the month is over, so I think that's what it is. I'm not going to check anymore, but I'm pretty sure that that's where we're at. Anyway, so it has been, I feel like it's been like almost a week, maybe even more since I really did an update. And the reason behind that is, twofold. I kind of am getting a little bit discouraged because my phone is still a brand new phone recently. And I don't think it's the phone itself that's the issue, but iMovie is being so weird. And I don't know if it was those, dang it, somebody pulled up. That's awkward. I'm just gonna pretend that I'm Skyping with family or something. I don't know if it was because of the specific clips that I was working with or whatever, but that one video that I just uploaded recently about my books, it wouldn't upload to YouTube, and I don't understand it. The second reason that I haven't really updated is because nothing has really happened outside of the norm. For Olo and Likely, which that name has to change because it's not actually like Olo and Likely. It was in the beginning, but it's not anymore. I have completed everything that I wanted to complete with that story at this point. I have 5 stories that are partially drafted. Not drafted, wow, that'd be awesome. I have 5 stories that are partially plotted, well, mostly plotted. And that was the main goal, that was the base. I wanted to finish this at the very least. 10 would be ideal because that have the entire series arc completed, and I would be able to just plot as I went at that point. I got my base goal done, and I'm using the rest of my time. Today's not Saturday, today's Sunday, because yesterday I wrote a whole lot. So I'm using the rest of my time for the month for NaNoWriMo, technically, I guess. Finish Project DW. It is so close at the moment. I think I'm gonna need an extra week for this one. There we go. I think I'm gonna need an extra week for this one, which is a little bit frustrating because I was hoping to hand it off to my writing buddies. I had intended to hand it off to them on Monday, but what I think I'm gonna do, and what I think is necessary at this point, is I'm going to print off the story, and then I'm going to read through it and decide what needs to go into what order, because the note cards weren't working for me very well. I'll figure out what order they need to go in that way. I've got the closest approximation that I can think of, but towards the end, the story gets really muddled because it's just so out of order. The beginning was really easy. And I'm trying to kick past Anna in the pants right now because she screwed me over hard. Last portion of, well, not really the last portion, the more middle last portion of the story is really muddled and weird. And so I really want to go through and make sure that at least the order of the story is solid. This last week I've been putting everything left into it, everything that I can think of, all of the extra scenes that I haven't written up so far, and I'm putting them into the story over the last couple of days and over the next, I think I have one more day after this. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to reorder the story physically and then reorder the story digitally according to what I've done, because in my head it's going to work out a lot better that way. Hopefully it does. So that's where I'm sitting in terms of my NaNoWriMo goals. I am technically not going to complete the Project DW goal, but I'm okay with that. I'm a little bit sad because I really wanted to give it to them, but I'd rather give them something that I at least know is mostly solid, because I need at this point large scale developmental help. Eventually I'll need small scale scene wise help, and that is, we're narrowing down the sort of editing field. So right now that's what I'm gonna do. I'm also going to go into Costco and go grocery shopping because that's technically what I'm supposed to be here for. But I have not had really a moment of silence to record because we moved my desk from my bedroom down to the living room, and it has helped a whole lot having somebody there that's like constantly watching me and making sure I'm working. I have been so productive. But it does make it really difficult to vlog and do videos and stuff. So I'm gonna have to figure something out for that because I have a lot of video ideas that I want to do. It just makes it kind of hard. Anyway, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do the thing, and this might actually probably be the last clip that I do. If it is, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you here. What did you do for NaNoWriMo? Did you complete your goals? Did you do the thing? Did you have fun? Which is the ultimate goal of NaNoWriMo. Well, the ultimate goal is to write things. But the second ultimate goal, penultimate, is that what it would be? Is to have fun. So, did you have fun? Did you reach your goal? Did you do the thing? Thank you guys so much for being here, and until next time, keep writing forward.